Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here on this channel, I talk about classic literature, films, pop culture, and whatever I feel like talking about. But I assume if you're clicking into a Q&A that you are probably already subscribed to my channel. So I'm not sure why I said all that. But if you are new here, hello! How are you? What have you been up to? Why'd you click on this video? What the heck are you doing here? I'm just kidding. It'd be so fun and weird if I got new viewers through this, but anyway. Whether you're new here or not, I just thought I would answer some frequently asked questions along with like a month ago now I posted on my Instagram story asking people to send in questions, and I got a lot. And so I'm going to answer those along with, a general FAQ. And if you have any specific questions for me, the comments of this video would be a great place to ask them, because I often don't look at the comments in my videos because I get so many and I get overwhelmed. And so a lot of times I just can't get to them. But I will try to be really vigilant about answering the questions in this comment section specifically because this is a Q&A. You could also ask on my Patreon if you want to do that. Also, an extended version of this Q&A will be available on Patreon where I'll be answering even more questions. Yay! So let's get into some basic questions first off. Who the heck am I? I've had a lot of people ask, how should we address you? What do you want to be called? My real name is Taylor. I would honestly prefer to be called Silver Fox or Fox. Some people call me Silver, which I think sounds a little silly, but if that's what you want to call me, if that's what you're comfortable with, that's fine. I would prefer to be called some variation of this. Hello, you joined me once again. I would prefer to be called that because I thought it was important to establish kind of early on sort of a barrier between my personal life and what I'm doing on this channel, to avoid any kind of cross boundaries, parasocialism, all that stuff. I thought it'd be smart to establish that early on, so going by a different name just made sense. Also, since my name is Taylor, a lot of times if I would have the name Taylor in my display name on social media, everyone always thought it was Taylor Swift related, which is understandable to a degree because I am a Taylor Swift fan, but it was kind of annoying consistently having to explain to people, no, that's actually my real legal name, that's just my name. And so I started going by Fox when I dyed my hair, just kind of as a joke. A young woman calling herself a silver fox. It's supposed to be ironic, but it kind of stuck, and I like it. So, that's my name. That's what you can call me. How old am I? I'm 27 years old as of recording this. I also get a lot of people asking, where is my accent from? My accent is from where I am from, and that is Georgia. I am Southern. I would be considered Appalachian or Appalachian, however you want to pronounce it. My accent confuses quite a lot of people, and I don't really understand it because this is the only way I'm used to talking. Although, there was someone recently who accused me of secretly being British, and they weren't even joking. But my accent is from Georgia, the south of North America. And I don't even really like tea. I drink coffee. Although I grew up on sweet tea. I'm gonna stop doing that voice because I feel stupid. I grew up on sweet tea, but why am I mentioning that? I'm from the South. I'm from Georgia. That is where I am from. Another one. Why do I always wear a cross necklace in my videos? It's because I'm a Christian. Also because it looks cool. I especially love wearing it with my goth outfits because it goes really well with that. That's mostly the general questions. Now let's get into specific questions I've been asked. What's your favorite book? That is honestly really hard to answer. I love so many books. But just sort of as my default, I choose Pride and Prejudice because it's a book I really genuinely love so much. It's between Pride and Prejudice and The Hunger Games, because The Hunger Games really had such a positive impact on my life. It really sort of altered the course of my life because it's what made me love books and made me decide I want to be an author and all that stuff. But Pride and Prejudice is just such a fun, cute book that had me giggling and kicking my feet the whole time I was reading it, so probably Pride and Prejudice if I'm being honest. Another simple silly question, my favorite character from The Walking Dead, Michonne. Although I thought the comics did her a disservice. I haven't read all of them, I've read like 50% of the comics. I hate to be one of those people who's like, the TV show was better, but in terms of earlier seasons, the TV show was definitely better. Another question, I get some variation of this question a lot, which is, did you make any form of long-form content before this YouTube channel? This gets asked a lot because people were kind of, not to toot my own horn, toot toot. Some people were kind of shocked by the production quality of my channel right out of the gate. I don't really think it's anything that special, but I had a lot of people saying, wow, I would have thought you had been doing this for a long time before I saw how old your channel was, before I saw when this video was posted. But the answer is, I mean, not really. I've been kind of addicted to the internet forever, but mostly Twitter. I did post some TikToks, but I just don't like that app, and I was never really good at using it. I didn't have a YouTube channel before this one, but I had always wanted to make a YouTube channel. I never really had the confidence. That's also something I get asked, why now? Why not 2 years ago? Someone specifically asked that, why not 2 years ago? And I know this is not the ideal time to start a YouTube channel. Things are going really downhill for this app, and it's harder in 2025 to build up a following than it really has ever been on this app. But the fact of the matter is, I wasn't ready to start a channel until now. I had always kind of wanted to start a YouTube channel, and even as a teenager, I remember getting out my phone and putting up a sheet so I'd have a blank background and trying to make a video. And I floundered around for maybe 5 minutes, then gave up because I didn't even have a topic. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I just knew that the platform of YouTube really interested me. Why was that so hard to say? Anyway, that it really interested me, but I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And even once I sort of had an idea of what I wanted my channel to be, it took confidence to get there. Even when I bought the equipment and I sat down and I recorded, I thought, I have no idea if I'm actually ever going to post this or not. And still, every time a filming day comes up and I, plot out time, I'm gonna film these hours on this day, I get really nervous when those days come up because it's really nerve-wracking sitting in front of this camera talking to you guys. It's hard to sleep the night before filming day because I'm like, what if everything goes wrong? What if the video sucks? What if my house burns down, while I'm doing it because it's so terrible? And it just fills me with, a degree of dread, even though I do enjoy this. And while I'm actually sitting here doing the videos, I feel fine, but, leading up to it, I'm so anxious. And I always lose my voice when I do this. Because I film several hour-long videos in a single day, so that I have a decent period of time in between where I can work on the videos and I have time to come up with new scripts. But that's why I didn't do this sooner. I'm still shocked by the reception this channel has gotten, if I'm being honest. As of recording this on October 12th, I have 40,000 subscribers. I started this channel in June. I posted my first video on June 16th. And I have 40,000 subscribers. And that's crazy to me, considering I have no prior following. It's not like I had other social media accounts with a large following that transferred over to here. It just kind of happened. Also, in terms of, I talked for too long, in terms of, editing experience, I used to make fan cams on CapCut, and so that's how I know how to edit just a little bit, enough to get this going. But I definitely have no professional experience in making video essays, in any form of content creation. My only level of knowledge was just watching other people do it and figuring it out, which is just sort of how I've done life in general. I'm very self-taught in pretty much every area of my life. Someone asked me if I'm a teacher. No, I think I would be really bad at being a teacher because I can be really calm here because this is a script and I'm talking, but I don't have a lot of patience and I get really frustrated trying to explain things to people. And I'm so much smarter than you aren't you getting this way, but it really frustrates me when I can't figure out how to explain things to people in a way that makes sense for them. And I don't think I would be a good teacher because I don't think I have the patience, the calm spirit required to say, okay, let's figure this out. Let me explain this to you. So, no, I'm not a teacher of any kind. I have no teaching experience. It would actually be really bad if any school hired me because I have 0 credentials. I never went to college. I have a GED. I was homeschooled. I basically taught myself. So, I have no credentials whatsoever to be teaching people anything. And I like to remind people of that when I make these videos. I'm not here being Miss Smarty Pants saying I've got it all figured out and I'm here to share my wisdom with you. I'm just making videos on subjects that interest me, that I find either fun and entertaining or really important topics that I want to address. Like my videos on AI, and I've been really grateful of how well those have done. I'm sorry I'm not answering your question right now, I'm just rambling, but I've been really grateful for how well those have done, and it's really warmed my heart to see the positive impact those have had. I've gotten a lot of comments from people saying this made me delete ChatGPT and things like that, and I will never be able to express just how that makes me feel, because I didn't expect that when I made the video. I honestly didn't expect anyone to really watch it, much less It's over 400,000 people now on that video. Holy crap. And my whole channel has collectively over 1 million views. And again, I started this channel in June. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, it feels weird. And also something else that feels weird is my last video got 18,000 views. And I'm like, oh, that didn't really do well compared to my others. And then I'm like, wait, 18,000 views isn't doing well compared to other videos on my channel? That's so cool! Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. Okay, I'm sorry. It's really amazed me, the sheer amount of positive reception I've received. And I know I can kind of drone on about that in videos, but I get really excited and overwhelmed thinking about it, and I know I don't necessarily sound excited or overwhelmed. I'm sort of like, thank you. This means so much to me, but I'm really bad at like showing emotion. I'm gonna play the autism card. I'm autistic, and I sort of process things internally, and sometimes like sort of more externally shut down when I'm feeling a lot of emotions on the inside. So that's why I'm like, it means so much to me, but you can't tell. I'm gonna answer an actual question now. Where did you grow up, and what do you like and dislike the most about it? I think this is an interesting question. As I said, I grew up in Georgia. I've lived here all my life. I would say the thing I like most about it is just being surrounded by nature 24/7. I pretty much live in the woods, and so I'm surrounded by nature 24/7, and it's honestly really beautiful and peaceful. And although I would prefer to live in a big city, that has always been my dream, I really love just being surrounded by nature. It's really beautiful. But I would say what I dislike the most about it, I would say a couple things. One, I politically disagree with the majority of people here. Second being, there's like nothing here except trees, which is nice aesthetically, but then there's like no stores to go to. There's really nowhere to eat. There's not a lot of options for places to go or things to do. And one of the appeals of a big city to me has always been that everything is always open. There's so many 24-hour stores. There's such a wide variety of like restaurants and stores and books and libraries. There's not a single bookstore in this town or in nearby towns. It's a real book desert out here. So I would say the thing I dislike about it most is how far you have to drive just to get anywhere at all. Someone said, "What's your favorite Bible verse? Love your style, BTW." Thank you for the style compliment. It makes me really happy. I'm a big fan of fashion, so it feels really cool when people are like, "Oh, I love your outfit." Which also reminds me, the other day I was at a restaurant and I saw a waitress. I'll answer the Bible verse question in a second, but I saw a waitress, like I looked up at her, and she had like black and green hair, and it looked so cool, and I'm thinking, I love her hair. And she looked at me and she smiled, and she walked up to me and she goes, "I love your whole outfit." And she was just like showering me with compliments about my outfit and saying everything. And I was looking at you because I was thinking like, I love her hair, she looks so pretty. And she's like, "I love your hair too." And it was a really nice interaction. She was so sweet, and I love when those interactions happen. But in terms of favorite Bible verse, I used to have specific ones memorized that I love. In fact, there was this one that I used to love because it made me think of Alice in Wonderland, and that used to be my favorite book, and I was so obsessed with it for a really long time. But I honestly don't have one specific verse right now, and I really should. I feel like a lot of people have favorite verses, and I feel like Donald Trump when I'm saying that, like, "What's your favorite Bible verse?" All of them, you know. That man has never read the Bible. I'm sorry, my voice is so hoarse. I really need to stop recording so many videos on the same day. There's this one I've always really loved because it felt so poetic to me, and I can't remember it verbatim, but it's talking about the flowers of the grass, now they're here today and gone tomorrow. And I just thought the way it was like worded in the translations was really beautiful. It read like a poem, and I mean, I think it was from Psalms, so it was kind of a poem. I'm a big poetry fan. As we know, I write poetry. It's a genre I'm really fond of. So I really love those verses in the Bible that just feel like I'm reading a poem. Favorite musical artist? I really love 21 Pilots, Taylor Swift, Talking Heads, and Bob Dylan. Those are like my top 4. As to what the rankings are between them, it really depends on the day. I really love all 4 of them, and I don't want to have to choose between them. But those are some of my favorites. I know those are like kind of cliche basic choices. They're all really popular artists, but I love them. Is your hair color natural or dyed? I get this question a lot. I get so many people asking me, is your hair natural? Is it dyed? Is it a wig? What is it? And I really hate for all the people who thought this was my natural hair to ruin the magic for you, but this is dyed hair. I have not gone fully gray at the age of 27. I do in fact dye it. And I would probably go with the joke and let you guys believe this is my natural hair color, but I go through a lot of freaking effort dyeing it bleaching it and dyeing it to maintain this. So I want credit where credit is due for how much effort I put into my hair. And it doesn't look as good as I want it to right now because the day before yesterday, I touched it up. I touched up my roots. I bleached it. I hate bleaching my hair, but I did it. I bleached my roots, and then I used Good Dye Young. I used the shade Grave Digger. I still have the box. I was so excited about this because I do love this brand, and I use their dye posits, which is like a shampoo you use between dyes to touch up the color, and I really like their gray for my hair, because usually by the time my hair is grown out enough to re-bleach the roots, the rest of my hair has just gone blonde. There's no ounce of gray left in it, and so, but the dye posit really keeps it gray the whole time, and I like that, and that's a really nice product, really easy to use. So if you, this is not an ad, they do not pay me for anything, and I don't think they're going to want to after what I'm about to say next. I do recommend the dye posits for like touching up color in between washes, but I used that Grave Digger Silver, and I was so excited about it, and my hair still came out blonde. It was a nice toned platinum blonde, but it was blonde nonetheless. And I'm like, that's not the color I want. I was really hoping, because I used Got To Be Metallic Silver, and I really wanted to stop using that for a variety of reasons. Initially, it was just because, I'm sorry there, my phone just died in the middle of recording, and I had to go charge it, and now I'm back, and man, I still have like 3 more videos to record, and my phone keeps dying, so that's awesome. What the heck was I saying? I think I was talking about my hair dye. Anyway, I wanted one that didn't have bleach in it, so it'd be healthier for my hair. And also recently Got To Be Schwarzkopf, or whatever the brand name is called, switched to having an AI girl on the box, and I do not like that. I do not want to support AI in any way. So that is the dye I currently use. I had 1 box left, and it takes 2 boxes to cover my hair. And after the Good Day Young one just did not work, I got that 1 box out, and I was like putting it on my hair and scraping it through and trying to get it through all of my hair. This is the result. It does not look exactly the way I want it to. It's not as even coverage as I like, but that is what I had to work with. If you know any really good silver dyes that can get a color like this, please let me know, because I really don't want to keep using that brand. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to hurry up answering these questions because my phone keeps dying. This one says, fellow sheltered, uneducated homeschooler, what did you do to adjust to the outside world? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't adjusted yet. I'm kind of a hermit. I don't really leave my house. I have lots of social anxiety issues. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. And I'm also moving out soon, and I plan when I move out to try to change my whole life in like every way I can, including like being more social and make an effort to like leave my house and do things once I'm more independent. But honestly, when I let you know, I'll tell you. I don't mean to say this to be a bummer, as in like, oh, you're never gonna figure that out. I'm sure you will. I'm sure we both will. I'm just not quite there yet. I really don't have any advice for adjusting to the outside world. If you do, please comment below to help us both. This one said, do you desire a companion? Some of y'all people are so freaking weird, and I'm not even gonna be like nice about it. The way some of you talk to me is really inappropriate and weird. I've gotten weirder comments. This is really tame compared to the other ones. There's weird implications there, just the way they said it, but in general, I've gotten some really weird comments. People asking me if I have OF, if I will sell them pics, this, that, and the other. Stop. Okay, so I'm about to go on a little rant here, and it sounds kind of like, when I watched it back, I realized it sounds like I'm coming for this one commenter specifically for this whole rant, and I want to make it clear that I'm talking about much more severe, rude, and vulgar comments that I have received, and I'm just sort of using this comment as a jumping off point, as an example. It is possible this person could have been joking, and they worded it weird as a joke, but it did make me a bit uncomfortable when I read it, and so I thought I would use this as a jumping off point, because I don't actually want to read out the worst comments, because that would make both you and me uncomfortable and frustrated. So I'm not doing that, but I'm also not coming for this commenter specifically with what I'm saying here. The sexualization of women is just so frustrating. The fact that you see a woman that you find attractive and your first thought is, can I purchase her? And that's what you're doing. You are trying to buy a woman when you try to buy access to her body like that. That's what you're doing. And it's disgusting. The fact that you look at women like objects, like property. And I've tried to have conversations with people who have this mindset, and it went nowhere. And so I just don't even want to talk to people about this anymore. If you think that, get off my page, get off my account, and stop talking to women this way. If you in your mind look at a woman and think, man, I wonder if she has an OF, do not comment that on her page, you freaking loser, okay? There's some thoughts you should keep to yourself. The sexual attractions you have to a total stranger are not things that total stranger needs to know about, especially not in explicit detail, okay? And I didn't mean to get so heated about this, but it really frustrates me, some of the comments I receive. And especially knowing I am far from the only person who gets these kind of really degrading, borderline harassing comments from people. It just sucks. And I knew when I started this channel, before I even started it, honestly, I said out loud to my sister, like, I'm gonna get these weird comments. One of the things she said to me is, you can't quit even if you fail. And I said, that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. I need to ingrain in myself that I can't quit even if I succeed. Because I know the second my account starts getting attention, my videos start blowing up, I'm going to want to retreat and be that hermit again. Because all those eyes on me make me so nervous. And especially because the weird, creepy comments, I knew I would get those, and I knew those would make me want to quit. I deleted every video on my TikTok a while back because I was getting some creepy, sexually harassing comments, and I just deleted everything. And I even deleted my other socials when that happened. I started a whole new Twitter and Instagram and everything. I was like, I'm done. I don't want any of the people who are commenting on this video saying this stuff to find my other socials and interact with me in any way. And I knew when I started this channel I would get that again, and I had to be prepared for it. I was not expecting it to start happening the day I posted my first video. Within 24 hours I was getting those kinds of comments again, which was weird because my video had 100 views at this point. So it's really been from the very beginning, but luckily I prepared myself. And it does really frustrate me, but I'm dealing with it. But if you're watching this and you were one of the people who thinks that way, who wants to comment those things, who has commented those things before, please stop. It is disrespectful. And it makes me uncomfortable. And it makes every woman whose videos you comment on uncomfortable. Sorry for that tangent. Which books have affected you the most, and in what ways? If that's not too personal to ask. It's not too personal. It's a good question, actually. First off, I would say The Hunger Games. I've spoken on that before, but the whole trilogy was really what made me love reading. Before that, I was one of those annoying people who did not read, and when I picked up that book, I just devoured it. I did not want to stop reading it, and as soon as I finished the first, I thought I have to have the second. And as soon as I finished the second, I thought I have to have the third. And then I read the third, and I cried, and my life was ruined. And so I would say The Hunger Games is a big one because it ignited my passion for reading because of just how addicted I was to it. And there are quite a few books in both big and small ways that have changed my perspective on things, given me insight into the lives of other people and their perspective, and really just reading in general has really expanded my worldview and allowed me to see other perspectives that are not my own and have a deeper understanding of them. And that is why I love reading, and I will continue to read, because I feel like I've learned so much about myself as a person and about other people from reading. I also think The Stranger by Camus, which I read recently, had a pretty interesting impact on me. It was something that made me do a lot of thinking in terms of the perspective the protagonist had, the way he viewed his circumstances, and how at the end of his life, I can't say that without spoilers, but it affected a lot. The things he said, it made me think. Are there any books that you are, for one reason or another, afraid to read? Any books on cannibalism? There's a lot of horror novels that involve the cannibalism aspect, and that's something that really freaks me out. Obviously it's supposed to be disturbing, but there's different degrees of disturbing, and there's some that just completely wig you out in a way you can't. And I can't deal with cannibalism. That's why I haven't seen the movie Bones and All, or any adjacent movies. Because watching someone cannibalize someone else just freaks me out. I can deal with the slasher, I can deal with gore. There's something about the cannibalism aspect that really, I can't stomach it. I watched a couple episodes of the Santa Clarita Diet, and I had to stop because it just freaked me out watching Drew Barrymore eat people. Would you consider putting your videos on Spotify as podcasts? Your voice is so soothing, and I love listening to podcasts when I sleep. Thank you. I've gotten quite a few compliments on my voice, which is so strange, because when I started this channel, I was really worried that people would click on the videos and hear my voice and click off, because I'm very self-conscious about my voice. I do not like the way I talk. Nothing about the way I sound appeals to me, and my accent is something I was really ashamed of for a long time, and I tried to get rid of. I put in a lot of effort to sound less southern than I was, which is why it's partially so funny that, anytime anyone hears my voice, their first comment is my accent and how southern I sound, because Out of everyone in my family, I have the weakest accent, and that is because I put effort into that. There are so many people around here. Just walk through this town for a day and start talking to people. You will be flabbergasted by just how strong the accents are around here. I really don't think I have a strong accent, just because I feel like I have the weakest accent of pretty much anyone I know who was born and raised here. But luckily, despite the fact that I apparently still do have a very strong accent, it doesn't bother people. A lot of people like it, and I didn't think they would. I just didn't think people would like my voice in general. I thought my content has to be good enough to make up for the fact that I sound awful. And I do sound awful right now because my throat is scratchy, but I was really shocked that my voice was part of the draw for a lot of people. Because I hate listening to my own voice when I'm editing. It sounds so bad. I don't know how you guys put up with me. I've gotten so many questions about putting my videos on Spotify, and I do want to find a way to make my videos into podcasts, to make it easier for people to access. And I know Spotify is sort of the most popular way to do that, but I don't want to put it on Spotify because I am really not a fan of what Spotify is doing. I'm not a fan of where their money goes. I'm not a fan of how they don't pay artists, and I'm not a fan of how they are increasingly implementing AI into their systems and their search and their monthly replays and all that stuff, you know, how they track your music and stuff. So I can't bring myself to put it on Spotify. I am looking into ways of putting it on Apple Podcasts, things like that. If you guys are familiar with the podcast realm and you know what I should do, let me know. It's not your job to help me with this, but if you just happen to know, that would be cool. But yes, I have gotten so many questions about this that I feel like I absolutely have to do it at some point. Probably really soon. I don't think on Spotify, even though that'll probably be the most lucrative avenue because Spotify is the one most people use, I just don't want to give them money. Someone asked, what's my favorite genre? Honestly, I would say it used to be young adult fiction when I was a teenager, but I've grown into more literary fiction. I really like books that are kind of set in reality in the real world and have realistic issues people are dealing with and navigating. I know some people want escapism, the escapism of fantasy in this entirely different world that operates completely separately. But I really enjoy people navigating through real life and real circumstances that I can actually relate to or understand. That's not to say I need to be able to personally relate to all of the characters in any book I'm reading and that I need to think, oh, I would make the same decisions as them, I have the same life as them, but just like real decisions that a real person could be faced with. No real person is going to be faced with, oh, there's a hot evil prince and I have to slay this dragon. Those are fun stories, do not get me wrong. I am not crapping on fantasy at all, but I just gravitate more towards literary fiction. Also, I really like thrillers. I like books that are so intense that have me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I love books with a bit of mystery to them. Not necessarily straight up murder mystery, but just elements that have you constantly wanting to keep going to figure out what's going to happen. I really enjoy that. Which country would you like to visit and why? I mean, honestly, I've just always wanted to travel in general. There are so many places I really dream of visiting. My big goal right now is France. I want to visit Paris. I honestly want to move to Paris. I've been dreaming of Paris. I've been dreaming of Paris. I know it's so cliche. It's like, it's such a big tourist city. But honestly, it just seems like a cool place to visit. But honestly, I would go anywhere. I really just want to travel the world and go to as many places as I can. And as of right now, I have never left the country. I've rarely ever left Georgia. I've only left Georgia a handful of times in my entire life. And there were more questions I wanted to answer, but I forgot to write them down. I thought, surely when I sit in front of the microphone, I will just know these questions that I consistently get asked by viewers. I have also gotten a lot of comments, people saying I really need to turn up the volume in my videos. I have it at like max volume. My microphone is at max volume right now. And whenever I am editing my videos in CapCut, I turn the volume up to like 350, 450 sometimes to make my video as loud as I can. And I still get comments saying it's not loud enough, so I'm not sure what I'm doing. Also, I will say something I get asked a lot is, how do I start a YouTube channel? What do I do, etc.? What equipment do I use? How did you get started? And I want to answer that here. For my microphone, I will link all 3 microphones. I got them off Amazon. I will link them in the description below. So if you watch my channel and you know what all 3 microphones sound like, you can make an informed decision about if you want any of these 3 microphones. Also, I know there's a lot of static here, but if you have a laptop, like I do not, You can plug this into the laptop and you can mess with the sound and you can get rid of the static. I just can't do that. But when I got started, the first thing I did was I didn't want to invest a ton of money in this just in case it didn't work out. So I got the cheapest tripod I could find and the cheapest microphone I can find. This tripod was $14 maybe, and the microphone was $4 or $5. I literally bought the dirt cheapest one I could get. I upgraded to a $40 microphone a couple months later, but I didn't like the way it sounded. It just wasn't worth the $40 in my opinion. So then I got this. This was $80 and I got it on sale for like $60. It is one of the biggest it's probably the biggest investment I've done in this channel. But initially I spent less than $20. You don't have to invest a lot in it. I recently had someone asking, what camera is it you use? I'm looking for a good camera. This is my phone. I film on my phone. I edit on CapCut. I initially used a $4 microphone. I used a basic tripod. The lighting is not super good in here right now because it's dark outside, but one of the best things you can do is just, if you're starting a channel, just have good lighting. And the best way to do that is just sit next to a window and have the blinds lifted up. And if you don't have that, do what I do. I have several lamps, several cheap lamps just sitting around for light. You don't need a professional setup. You just need passion and patience. Patience to put into editing the videos and also consistency. Even if you make really great videos, if you post super sporadically every couple of months, you're not going to be able to following. So I knew that going in because this is also true of like any other social media platform, and so I was really familiar with that. And so I knew going into it, I said, if I do this, I have to keep going every week, even if it sucks. Even if my videos are getting no views whatsoever, I have to keep going until eventually they start. That happened on my third video. My third video has over 400,000 views. That doesn't normally happen, I don't think, but consistency is key. So I will say, if you want to start a YouTube channel but you don't think you have the time to dedicate to it yet, you don't have time to upload weekly or bi-weekly, maybe don't start just yet. Or if you want to, start working on videos and build up a catalog of videos and have a decently large selection of videos already made before you start, so that way you have time to make more videos, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make a whole video on tips and tricks on how to start a YouTube channel because honestly I'm still new and I honestly just got really lucky. I'm really blessed that so many people have chosen to support this channel and that you guys like my content, which I truly was not expecting, especially not this early. In my mind, I was thinking I would have to grind for at least a year before I even reached monetization, and that happened within my first month. It happened about 3 weeks in. And all I'm going to say is, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, if I can do it, you can. I know every content creator says that, but I am uneducated. I had $20 worth of equipment. I don't have a computer, and it's going kind of great for me. So if you are going to start a channel, my pieces of advice, as someone who has very little experience in this and just got lucky, be consistent. Try to have a good background, but more important than background is having good lighting, and you can literally achieve that by just sitting next to a window. It doesn't matter. You don't need fancy equipment. Try to craft a mission statement. Write out a list of what your goals are for this channel, what you want to achieve by having this channel. So I did that. My goal was to educate and entertain people, and I wrote out some specific things I wanted, and also sort of define my niche. I allowed myself to have 3 separate things that I would do, and so I have one which is like deep dive video essays, 2 is bookish content, the 3rd is talking about being a Southern Christian, more religious content. But these all intertwine with each other really well. I made a deep dive about biblical submission and like fundamentalism, fundamental Christianity and what exactly that is. And I'm about to record right after this one a video about the quiverful movement and what all that means. And I have experience in these areas as someone who grew up in this religion and in the Deep South. I have personal experience to add to this. I can do deep dive video essays into book related things. So you pick less than 5 things you want to do, 5 niches, and see if you can get them to like intertwine with each other. And so my content seems to complement each other pretty well. I feel like I'm hyping myself up right now. It's just pick your niche, decide what you want to do with the channel, stick to it. Even if you have other videos you want to make, maybe just if you think this doesn't fit in with my channel niche, put it on the shelf for later. Think about a lot of people, once their channel starts blowing up, they create a second channel where they do different things on there. You could always do that, so don't try to do too many things at first, I guess, would be my advice. And I had some more like serious questions that I'd been asked recently, and I simply do not remember them. But for now, my phone needs to be charged. So thank you guys so much for watching. I was about to apologize for yapping, but that is really the entire point of this video. So that was a little get to know me, a little chit chat session. Hopefully I answered your questions. Feel free to ask more below. And thank you for watching. That's all, folks. Bye!